Hey everybody, it's GalmatX and welcome back to another premiere draft of Kaldheim. Today's rare, we've got a blue and a black for a saga, King Narfi's Betrayal. Each player mills 4 cards, then exile a creature or planeswalker from each graveyard, and then on the second and third turn of the saga, you can cast cards that were exiled with it and spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. So essentially for 3 mana, you're drawing the best creature or planeswalker from the top 4 cards of both players' decks. However, if you do dump this out on turn 3, you need to be able to cast the things in the next 2 turns. You still have to have enough mana for them. So you do need to hit like a 4 mana and a 5 mana card would be the best you can do in the early game. I think this card is still generally quite powerful. I think I'm happy to take that. There is also Seraph's Packmate though, which is a very, very good green common. Other than that, maybe Kaya's Onslaught as a nice game ender. But I kind of want to start out with this King Narfi's Betrayal, see if we can get some really fun, rare saga stuff going on. This pack has multiple really quality cards in it. There's Avalanche Caller, a 2-mana 1/3 that turns your snowlands into 4/4, just absolute threats later in the game to bash your opponent down, or at worst, trade off with your opponent's real cards once you've gotten flooded a bit. Augury Raven, a great cheap evasive threat with the Foretell ability. You could even cast this thing out on turn 3. Stalwart Valkyrie's really solid in the white decks, again an evasive threat, and you can cast this for very cheap in any aggressive deck. You're often trading creatures off early. And then like Carter's Vicious Return is not that good. I think I like Avalanche Caller, Valkyrie, Raven, and we're definitely taking one of the blue cards with King Narfi's Betrayal as our first pick, so it's between Avalanche Caller and Augury Raven for me. I'm going to go with the Avalanche Caller. I think it's just a pretty absurd card. You don't even need that many snowlands to make it work, and it can do a lot of stuff. Now, Rise of the Dreadmarn's pretty solid. You can foretell this for 2, and then later in the game, you only have to hold up 1 black mana to be able to use this effect, and all you have to get out of this is 2 2/2s for it to be fine, and for that, you literally just have to have 2 creatures trade. So, if all of a sudden maybe you trade like a 3/2 Jarl for their 3/3 Seraph's Packmate or something like that, then bam, you cast this and you've just gotten 2 2/2s out of this card. Even if you're casting that later, that's fine. Obviously, it would be ideal if you can get more than 2 creatures dying in one turn, but that's not going to happen super often, so don't count on it. Just treat this card as like a couple 2/2s for pretty cheap, pretty often. That being said, there's also like Mistwalker, which has been absolutely fantastic, and Great Hall of Starnheim, although that is off color from what I'm doing right now. I still like the Rise of the Dreadmarn here. Play around with just some more fancy rare cards. Now we have a snow-covered island, and we do want to take snowlands pretty highly with an Avalanche Caller here. We've got Augury Raven for that flying threat. Wither Crown as our first removal spell, although it is one of the weaker ones since it doesn't get the card you're enchanting off the board. We could also take Binding the Old Gods. This is just a very solid saga. Destroy a non-land permanent, grab a forest from your deck into play tapped, and then give your whole field Death Touch, mainly for just like destroying a non-land permanent and getting a forest. There are also non-basic lands in this format that have basic land types, so you could get a dual colored land off of the forest grab, which is extra nice. That would be a little splashy here. We're definitely starting off pretty much just blue-black, so I like Raven or the island. I'm gonna take Raven, but it was a really close pick, as you could tell by me trying to click on the snow island at the very last second there. So, this pack is not that exciting for us. I think the best cards are definitely the uncommons here. Littjara Mirror Lake, which requires double green to activate, and Carter's Vicious Return, which is a black-red saga, and it's more for an aggressive kind of deck that has a lot of smaller creatures that you're okay sacrificing later. Yeah, I don't actually know what I'm going for here. Maybe the Mirror Lake, because we could end up in like Sultai Snow or something, is what I'm thinking. If we had taken the Snow Island, I think this would be an easy Mirror Lake, because then we'd already have a pretty decent start towards the snow deck with an Avalanche color and a Snow Island. Now I kind of do want to just take Highland Forest. That might be a little weird because I don't have any green or red cards right now, but if we're seeing a lot of decent snowlands go late, we can probably just start scooping them all up and be one of these pretty multicolored snow decks. That being said, there's also just great blue cards in here. Glimpse the Cosmos is fantastic. All you really need for this to be good is just a few changelings in your deck, and if you have Bergstriders, it's fantastic. 2 mana to draw a card of the top 3. You do it again once you have a giant on the field. There's also Bind the Monster, which is pretty okay removal in blue. So Glimpse the Cosmos or Highland Forest if I want to try to go for snow or not, basically here. You know what? This is a coward draft today. I am happy with the choice I made, though, getting a Mistwalker right after I took Glimpse the Cosmos. This card combos with that very well, being just a good card by itself, even if you don't have anything that cares about creatures type, and an exceptional card if you do. And we now have Glimpse the Cosmos caring about giants, and Mistwalker being a giant. It's going to be pretty fantastic. That snow-covered island, I guess that's not the same snow-covered island, but this will be a really easy pick here. Even if we don't end up in the super heavy snow deck, we want some snow islands for Avalanche color, even if we're just like blue-black stuff. So really nice to see that so late. And Draugr Thought Thief is just not that impressive. Undersea Invader isn't either. So I kind of think I want to just take Arctic Treeline and speculate on just snow being open. Obviously, we're not going to play it unless we end up in, like, Sultai Snow at the very least. Or, I guess, Esper Snow, but that would be really weird. I don't think that's really a thing. Strategic Planning. It's not a card I like a lot. It's basically a way worse Glimpse the Cosmos. Because it's a Glimpse the Cosmos you can only cast once, essentially. Could take the 2/3. Could take the Valkyrie. I guess I'll go with the Valkyrie here. I could see a world in which I get pushed into like blue-white flyers or something, and Valkyrie ends up being solid. You know, and then a Great Hall of Starnheim this late. I think I'd like to pick that up instead of just a Brine Barrow Intruder or a Demonic Gifts. I think this card's just way more powerful than those, enough to where I am speculating on an off-color pick. Frost Peak Yeti or Giant Ox. Giant Ox does really, really block well. So in like blue-white flyers it would be solid, and Frost Peak Yeti's not super exciting even when you are the snow deck. It's just okay. Take a Scorn Effigy there, and Scorn Effigy might actually end up being good in our deck if we do end up pivoting into like blue-white, because blue-white does have some cards that care about Foretell. Alright, we've opened another very powerful saga. I'm thinking maybe we're trying to go like blue-white splashing black at this point. This is Frisia's Retribution, 4 mana for a 4/4 Flying Vigilance Angel. On the next turn, you can tap any of your angels to destroy a creature with less power than it, and then on the third turn, all of your angels get double strike until end of turn. And since the angel token has vigilance, you get to attack with it and then use it to kill one of their cards after you've already attacked. So I think this card is just a very, very solid saga here. I'm happy to pick that up. The only thing I don't like about this is blue is definitely our heaviest color, and it has our best cards. I mean, every single one of our blue cards right now is fantastic, except like Frostpeak Yeti's just okay. So there's no way that we're not playing blue, which means this is definitely splashing at least one of those two colors. Most likely going to be like blue-white splashing black here. You do have to be 3 colors to play the Retribution. Mistwalker or Augury Raven? I like both of these a lot. I don't actually know which one's better here, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of the blue cards. Blue is going to be our heaviest color, most likely. It's the color that we've been seeing the most good cards in last pack, going pretty late. Although I guess the Starnheim went pretty late. If we want to completely abandon blue and try to do black-white, the pick would be maybe Kaya's Onslaught, maybe Ascent of the Worthy, but this card is underperformed for me. Maybe I'm just not good at using it. It's just a really weird effect overall. I guess even if you don't get anything out of the first 2 turns, on the 3rd turn you are bringing something back to your from your graveyard to the battlefield with flying. Yeah, maybe we even take Priest of the Haunted Edge and just be like Esper Snow. I don't know, it's weird. I guess I'll go with Augury Raven. But you know, Glimpse the Cosmos might be the kind of card that we actually should lean more heavily towards the Mistwalker because we have a Glimpse here and no other giants right now. That would make sense. Yeah, I should probably have taken Mistwalker just to work with Glimpse the Cosmos at least. I kind of hate how Giant Ox is not a Giant Ox. It's not a giant for Glimpse the Cosmos. Anyways, I think the strongest card here is probably Shepherd of the Cosmos, although there is a very good argument for Shimmerdrift Veil here, because we are trying to splash in black for the Retribution, and this is just a very good splashing land. Comes into play tapped, and taps for whatever color you choose when you play it. So we can name black off that to have our black source. This might be one of the times where we're supposed to just take that and take our medicine, if you will, but that just seems so boring to me when there's Shepherd of the Cosmos, which, if you foretell it, is a 4-mana 3/3 flyer that brings back one of your cheap cards, one of your 2-mana or less permanents from your grave to the battlefield. So I think this card's really good. I also think Behold the Multiverse is really good, and I also think Vega's really good, and I would want to play a deck that has all 3 of these cards together, so I am unhappy seeing all 3 of these in this one pack. If these cards were split out between the next 3 packs, I would be so happy ending up with all those in our deck. But now I have to make a choice. I guess I have Shepherd, 2 Ravens, Scorn Effigy, Rise of the Dreadmarn. I've got a lot of Foretell. Let's go for... Behold the Multiverse is just not going to wheel. Maybe Vega will. Yeah, there's definitely an argument for just taking Behold because Vega might wheel just because it's 2 colored, but I think Vega's the strongest card by a little bit. Usher of the Fallen. We could start going for just an aggressive blue-white curve here and kind of abandoning the splash at this point. That seems probably wrong. I think we just want to take the mana fixing now, although there is the Icespine Pillar, which is pretty absurd during a long game. If you get enough snow permanents, maybe we take that, but we really need the snow sources for that, and I still need snow sources for color. Yeah, I'm gonna take Icespine Pillar, but I am not confident in that one. Now, Augury Raven or Usher of the Fallen. These Usher of the Fallens going pretty late here. Solid, really aggressive card. Because we have Vega, I'm gonna take Augury Raven first. This pack kind of sucks all around. I guess the best cards in here are red. We do have a tapped white snowland, so we'll take that. Could take another Scorn Effigy just because it works with Vega, but I think Iron Verdict is probably just better. There's also Colossal Plow, which does work with our Giant Ox, which is adorable, but I don't think that's particularly strong. I'm going to take the Iron Verdict. And we'll take a Mistwalker here. We did wheel the Mistwalker, so that makes the Augury Raven over Mistwalker look super fine. Now, a Kaya's Onslaught, which does foretell and could kill your opponent out of nowhere with Double Strike, or Snow Plains. Yeah, I'm going to start actually taking the lands I should have been taking a while ago. I kind of think I have to take just the 2/2 here, although the flyer makes a little more sense because we're like blue-white flyers. We just don't have a lot of 2-mana cards, and one of them I'm not very excited about, the Ox here. I do really want a lot to work with my Shepherd of the Cosmos. I'm going to take Story Seeker over that Stalwart Valkyrie there. I don't feel very happy about that, but I really want to make sure that I'm actually curving out as well as I can. We are looking to be a somewhat aggressive blue-white deck at our core. In Great Hall of Starnheim, we will be splashing this in as well, because it costs double white on the ability. It just requires 1 black, although I suppose it needs another black source other than itself. It can't tap for its own ability. Warhorn Blast does foretell. I don't know how likely we are to play it, but we'll see as we get to the end here. Another Vega. A Bound in Gold. A Giant's Amulet. Some very strong cards in here. I'm thinking I need to just take the Bound in Gold, because we just do not have a lot of removal. We have an Icebind Pillar to tap things down, an Iron Verdict to do 5 to a tapped creature. Yeah, really not a lot of removal. I guess the Retribution can destroy one creature. I'm going to take Bound in Gold. This is just a fantastic removal spell. By shutting off all of the abilities of any permanent you enchant it to, you can shut down planeswalkers, you can shut down creatures, and when you're shutting down creatures, you're shutting down all of their abilities as well, not just their attacking and blocking. So I'm going to take Bound in Gold there. We really would like to wheel the Vega. That would be super cool. But I just don't feel that's super likely. So we're not a Spectral Steel deck, we just don't have a lot of auras, and we're not really looking to get a ton of them. Maybe a Beskir Shieldmate to get another early creature. This one will trade off pretty profitably, because if it trades into anything with 2 toughness and we're spitting out a token out of it, that'll just be a good time. So it's something that we'll definitely be trying to get in the grave as soon as possible for cards like Shepherd and our Double Valkyrie. With Double Valkyrie, we do want to have a lot of creatures like this that just trade off. So we don't even just want 2-mana creatures, we want 2-mana creatures that are trading off. So Giant Ox is actually not great with the Valkyries or the Shepherd. Bind the Monster would be probably the next card I'd be interested in there. Oh, wow. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. Alright, I love this pack, but I don't love, yet again, how all these cards are in the one pack, so I only get one of them. Snow-Covered Island, we still need more snow sources to make Avalanche Caller happen more often. And Icebind Pillar especially, we really need more snow sources for, because it does nothing without them. But then there's Bergstrider, which is a 5-mana 4/4 that taps something down even without the snow mana. There's another Vega, which I really do like. It's what we're going for here. And another Avalanche Caller. I'm going to pick up another Avalanche Caller, because I kind of do already have a lot of stuff at the top end, and it's some splashy stuff. This has been a crazy draft. Now there's the blue-black duel and a Bound in Gold. I really need the removal, I'm feeling. We're getting to a point where we could just end up cutting black here, because I'm not taking these lands as highly as I should. This is one of the things I just don't like about this format. It's pretty much impossible for me as a drafter to play any deck in which I need to draft lands as highly as I should be drafting these lands, because that is just not something my brain is ever going to go for. So like, if we were taking all these snow lands as highly as we probably should have been, we could easily just scoop up a Narfi here, and Narfi would be exceptional in our deck, because then Narfi could always come back. But with only 3 snow sources right now with Narfi, that just seems pretty mediocre. So we're just going to be a blue-white Flyers deck and take another Stalwart Valkyrie at this point. Here I will definitely take a Shimmer Drift Veil, though. Iron Verdict is quite a bit worse than Bound in Gold. So I'm much more happy to take a Snow Land over an Iron Verdict than I am to take it over a Bound in Gold. Another Snow Land. Oh my god, Clarion Spirit! Oh, that card is so good. You can't keep doing this to me. Just giving me really good non-land cards in the packs where I really should be taking the lands. Oh, this card is so exceptional. It's my favorite white uncommon, easily. I'm gonna take it. Maybe I'll cut black. Maybe I'll just cut black. Alright, Rune of Sustenance, Glimpse the Cosmos. With Glimpse the Cosmos, we just have 2 giants right now, just 2 shapeshifters, so that's actually not that good. Another Scorn Effigy for Foretelling. I like the Rune in a Flyers deck. Throw it on a Flyer, and it's really hard for your opponent to outrace you. And now we're just taking Vega, although there is a Snow Plains. Take a Code Spell Cleric, because now I'm trying to go really low curve with Clarion Spirit. We'll get a couple 1-drops if we can. Kinseekers is another giant, so we'll take that. Take another Code Spell Cleric or a Starnheim Courser. Take another Code Spell Cleric. Now we're just going to be a low curve Azorius Flyers kind of deck. With a couple Avalanche colors that actually have a few lands they could hit. The thing about Avalanche colors, like just a 2-mana 1/3 is not the end of the world if it never uses its ability. So like if you can use its ability in like 1 out of every 4 games, it's still probably solid. So if I cut black, I'm just cutting Rise of the Dreadmar, Narfi's Betrayal, and Retribution. And the Great Hall. And then I still have to make 9 more cuts. Those are some powerful cards, but I think our deck is pretty consistent without them in terms of what we're doing, where all our creatures are just like evasive threats that are pretty decently sized as well. 2 power at 3, and 3 power at 4 mana, 6 3-power flyers at 4, that we can also cast for only 2 if we foretell, or only 2 if we trade something off. I actually really like how this deck works without the black splash, or how it looks without the black splash, because a lot of our blue-white cards here do just lend themselves well to a good aggressive deck, and less powerful defensively. When you're like splashing into a bunch of multicolored stuff, you want a lot of good, decent like defensive options, and I think we're really just got aggressive stuff going on, which definitely makes me want to cut down my colors and cut down my amount of tap lands if I can. So I want to take out the Giant Ox, because it's just not going to trade off early. Cut out the Intruder, just use the 2 Code Spell Cleric for that. Cut out the Wings, because flying's a bit redundant with most of our cards. I'm actually thinking about cutting Eyespine Pillar, and maybe even the Collars, just because 1/3s aren't that aggressive. And then we can just cut out our tapped Snow Sources. Kind of want to take out the Frostpeak Yeti first, if that's the case, though. If we're cutting down our amount of snow mana. Just becoming a blue-white Flyers aggressive deck. 21 creatures right now. I should probably cut a couple. Could cut the Collars, actually. That is a little weird, because I did just go on the spiel about how you don't even need that many ways to use them. But like if I cut our tapped lands, then we just have 2 ways to use them. Which is really not a lot. Oh, the Eyespine Pillar for sure also. Eyespine Pillar you do need a lot of ways to use because it does literally nothing without the snow mana. So we can foretell this on 2, we can foretell this, we can foretell these. We can foretell this. And that. This actually looks real fun. This actually looks really fun. Yeah, I think probably we're not drafting objectively the right way from what I've been hearing a lot from a lot of the better drafters out there, but we were drafting in the way that would give me the best deck for my kinds of strategies that I enjoy. I just like playing aggressive decks a lot, so you're going to see that happen. I think that I would do a better job piloting and drafting towards a more aggressive deck than if I really somehow reeled myself in and took all the tap lands and stuff. So I think that this kind of strategy is going to get me personally a higher win rate on average than if I did what maybe is like the objective right way, just because I have a worse understanding of those kinds of decks and what you should draft at what point for that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to draft the kind of cards that I know what I'm doing when I build an aggressive deck, you know, decently. Our average is 3.1, but with all the foretell, I think we can cut down to 15 here. Go really low. Our most expensive card is, well, this is 4 mana, even if we foretell it. So we've got like 2 4-drops, but that's the most expensive our cards get. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. We need to make sure our colors are good. 17 white symbols and 9 blue symbols. 8-7 seems about right. We don't have a single card in here that needs 2 mana of one color, except for maybe the Mistwalkers. We'd want double blue later in the game, but that can wait till later, so I think we're fine with the 8-7 split on lands. Is there any reason for these snow lands at this point? Other than to just show off, hey, I got a couple snow lands. There's literally no reason for these snow lands, which means we should just cut them, because there's like one card that will hose you a tiny bit for playing snow lands. So if we have literally nothing that cares about them, we might as well cut them and just turn them into regular ones. Alright, let's go. Blue-white evasion. The picture on our deck is not even a card in it anymore. If you think about it this way, we drafted a good Azorius aggressive deck and rare drafted a couple times. You could just think of it that way, because basically all the black cards that we cut, except for the land, were rares. So we got some rare drafting value even if we're not ending up playing any of those cards. This is not super keepable, but I suppose we get Augury Raven turn 3 no matter what happens here. Opponents on the play, I think I'm actually going to keep just because opponents on the play, so I get multiple draw steps here. We did draw into a plains. Could have just cast Codespell Cleric turn 1, but I don't really want to do it. It's just a 1/1 Vigilance on the board. I would rather try to double spell later. Like turn 3, now I get to cast Raven and make it a 4/4 flyer, which is like a super big threat. Opponent goes Snow-Covered Forest into Mountain. So we've got options here. I could Glimpse the Cosmos, but I think I can hold off on our draw spells till after we've just dumped everything else on the board. Because I am wanting to get aggressive. That's just what I like to do. And it's our deck's strength, so we should lean into that and save the card draw until we've got the extra mana at our disposal to do that without completely stopping putting creatures on the board. Now we cast the Augury Raven. I could put a counter on the Cleric. Yeah, I'll go ahead and just put a counter on the Cleric, actually, so I can trade with Cavalry if they send it in. The thing I don't like about putting the counter on the Raven is that our opponent's on red, and there is a common removal spell, which means they almost definitely have at least one that'll do 4 damage to a creature. So, like, if they have removal for the Raven, it's going to kill it whether it's at 3 or 4. And now we got to just trade our 2/2 for a 3/2 instead of just having a 1/1 here and not blocking at all game. So this worked out fine. And I'll be very happy with how it worked out if our opponent ends up using something like a Demon Bolt. Kind of want to Glimpse the Cosmos and cast the Valkyrie here, just get another flyer out. Could even just play the Shieldmate to trade there. Cavalry is pretty scary, because we know they can play like a 4 or 5 mana card next turn and immediately give it haste. I think I'll be okay. Famous last words. We'll see. Just do our blue-white flyers thing here. Elven Bow, a 2/3 reach. That equipment is really not what I want to see, because now they can move that over to any creatures they have all game for 3 to give them +1/+2 in reach. Which means they can easily get a creature that is a really big blocker for my stuff. Got a bird and an angel warrior. Shieldmate is a human warrior, so if a Shieldmate's on the field, then Kinseekers would do 3, but same with if a Mistwalker's on the field. I'm probably just casting both of these, and next turn I'm almost guaranteed to get a +1/+1 counter and scry off of Kinseekers. I'm not going to trade my Valkyrie for their 1/1 token, so we'll just send in the Augury Raven. around. Just dump our hand out here. Oh, I guess I could glimpse instead. But I think I can wait on that as well, because I've got a second shapeshifter in my hand. So we know we'll have access to glimpse whatever happens here. Masked Vandal. And a Basalt Ravager for like 5? Oh, just 3. On the Augury Raven it is. Well, I guess if I did have a counter on the Raven, it would have been too big for the Basalt Ravager there. But at the same time, I should probably scry before I do this, right? I guess it doesn't super matter. Just top 3, one ahead, and the rest on bottom. If I scry and then just keep it on top, it's like nothing happened. I don't know. I'm gonna glimpse first. Ooh. Actually think Valkyrie's better here. Nah, with that Elven Bow, though. That Elven Bow is just such a big deal for me. I could throw it onto their Ravager and they have a 5/4 reach. Spirit is not going to give me a 1/1 flyer this turn, but it could give me 1 or 2 in the future, whereas Valkyrie's just a single flyer. I don't know here. I'm definitely going to scry off Kenseekers this turn, though, because Valkyries aren't even going to attack in against the 2/3 reach right now, even if they don't move the bow around. We would be in a really good position if they just didn't have Elven Bow. That's like the one card here. Alright, kill Kinseekers and Shieldmate, or Mistwalker and Shieldmate. Either way is not that big of a deal. I'm actually happier with that than if they had killed Mistwalker, because Mistwalker can actually attack into the Elven Bowed creature and trade with it, but I'd still be trading down into essentially a 1/1 token. So I still don't really want to do that. I'd have to pump this twice to get enough power, and then it would be a 3/2, so they'd trade with each other. So Mistwalker doesn't even actually attack in well. Gives us the illusion of attacking in well. With 2 of them out, though, I can actually start attacking with 2 Mistwalkers. Because then whichever one doesn't get through, I just don't use the ability, and whichever one does get through, I can pump 3 times to do 4. So Vega. I have to start worrying about blocking, though. So if I attack with both of these... Do I have enough to double pump after casting Vega? I do. Nice. Okay. If I attack with both these, I have 2 3/2s, a 1/1, and a 2/2. The mob blows up the 1/1 immediately. I have 2 3/2s and a 2/2. I have to trade 2 things into the mob. That's kind of brutal. I guess I am at 16. I could like let that hit me and just block other things if they send in with anything else. Alright, the Elven Bow is even scarier now. It's giving +2/+3 reach trample. Oh, I guess they do get to throw that onto the mob and then move it back. Well, we definitely were not going to have good blocks even with the Mistwalkers up. Oh, they're not even boasting yet? Unless they have a 4 mana card in their hand. Blocking with the 1/1 is good here. Even though that has trample. Oh, they're gonna re-equip the bow, of course. Yeah, I just can't actually win through an elven bow. I would need my like broken bonds thing. If I attack with everyone here, they can only block one of these actually. So they block Vega probably. They take 5, 10, 12, 13, 14. Actually, wait, can I? This is like my one chance, so whatever. I'll just go for it. I think I... Oh, wait, no, they block Valkyrie, not Vega. So 5... Yeah, math is for blockers. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15! Oh my god. Warhorn Blast is actually a sick card. Okay, well, I was not expecting that whatsoever. Our only hope, basically, all game was to either draw oh, I'm getting mixed up with my card names. Not Broken Bonds, it's Bound in Gold. Something about binding, bonding, whatever. The Bound in Gold to like throw on their equipment so they can't move it to anything else because that's an activated ability. So we were hoping for that, or just enough flying creatures to be able to go wide around their one flying blocker. And luckily we just drew a Warhorn Blast, which made it so we had enough power to go wide around the one blocker they had. That was a really good draw that I wasn't even thinking about. Even when I drew it, I wasn't thinking about it. Until I was like, well, whatever, flunge. This hand is very solid. By the way, we've got 2-drop creatures and then Raven on 4. So play one of these two on turn 2, the other one on turn 3, the Raven on turn 4. That could change based on what they play here. If they play like a 0/6 Giant Ox, I'm going to be foretelling this Raven. But if they play like any small creatures that would trade immediately, then I'd like to trade Shieldmate first. If we see a tapped Snowland, that makes it pretty unlikely that they'll be trading in the early game, I feel. Or at least more likely that they'd be a slower deck that's just foretelling something this turn, in which we want to just get the lifelinker out. And we're just going to be curving out to the best of our ability to try to outrace whatever they've got coming. Augury Raven for now, sure. Sure. We'll play our own. And next turn we've got access to Warhorn Blast. I could have sent in the attack there before casting Raven if I wanted to bluff something, but I couldn't cast Warhorn Blast this turn, so I couldn't kill the Raven this turn. But this next turn I can just attack with everybody, and wherever they block it works out fine for me. I could just trade one of my weaker creatures, or my Raven would still survive the fight. Now they have a Frostpyre coming up that they can sacrifice to do 2 to each creature. That is not a fun time for my deck whatsoever. 2 damage to everything, so I kind of want to make a 3/3 like with Code Spell Cleric's +1/+1 counter. And then just hold off Warhorn Blast for now. They're 2 mana away from using that. Play Valkyrie here. I'm actually going to put a counter on Story Seeker so I can stay aggressive, I think. Or Shieldmate. I don't care too much about my life total, so I'm going to stay aggressive. I think now I'm just actively trying to outrace the Frostpyre. Yeah, and that trade makes me so happy I put it on the Shield Mate instead of the Story Seeker, because if I put it on the Story Seeker and attacked, then they would just trade there and I get nothing anyway. They are now 1 mana off from the Frostpire. If I attack with everybody, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 8. What is 7 plus 8? 15? They almost definitely have something, though, if I just try to do that. Warhorn Blast would save the Valkyrie and the Story Seeker from the Frostpire, if that's their plan. I can either cast this right now and I win if they don't have an instant speed spell, or I can wait and if they tap out for the Frostpire, cast this to save Story Seeker and Valkyrie. If they tap out for Frostpire next turn, that means this turn they're taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, going to 8, and then I do that, and they're going to take 5 more, go to 3. I really don't want to risk it. I'm going to hold off. Because I feel they're really likely to still die here, and we were 100% going to lose the game if they had a single Frostbite or Bounce spell or anything like that. Because then I just have no cards in hand or on field and I draw land. Now they have to draw a flyer or something to kill my flyer. I guess if they had a Frostbite or a Bounce spell, they can just use it now on the Valkyrie. Ooh, Glimpse of the Cosmos is a good draw. See if we can draw into something here. We did. Hold off on that for now. Okay, so they had a squash. And they did have enough mana to squash that other turn, so they were probably on that plan. If I did the big old pump the field thing. And then I would have mega lost. I guess I would have drawn Valkyrie now. But then they just need 1 removal spell instead of them needing 2 now. Seize the spoils, they get 1 treasure token. They've got 2 mana to stop me here. And that is the concession. That is 2 wins to start off with this white-blue Flyers deck. I'm actually 3 wins away from Diamond getting out of Platinum here. That would be really cool. But that would require 3 wins in a row. That would be a good streak of luck there. We'll see. We'll see what we can do here. We're 2-0 so far. I'm doing the best I can. It's working out thus far. Alright. Heading into round 3. This is a weird one. Although I do still like it. I like any hand with some Augury Ravens. Our deck has a lot of those. Alright. Code Spell Cleric is just going to get cast later. We can do the cast an Augury Raven and a Code Spell Cleric in 1 turn thing again. That could be cute. See if they play a 2 toughness creature. Alright, I'm putting the counter on the Code Spell Cleric, and I'm trading on blocks. That is the plan. And then I'll have a creature that's small enough in my graveyard for when Shepherd of the Cosmos comes into play to bring that back. It will just be a 1/1 with no abilities, though, when I bring it back from the grave, but still. At least I'm getting something out of that. They might not even offer the trade here, and I just get to hang out with my Code Spell Cleric. I even get to attack with it here, because the only reason I want to hold it as a blocker is to trade with Firewalker, and they can't block with the Hulk unless they block with both, which means I get to kill Firewalker on attacks too. Just poke him for some damage with it as well. I think I will be casting another Raven here. The Valkyrie could be cheaper later when I've got extra things in my grave, and this is just better on the board, just one more toughness. Could have alternately just foretold two things, like foretell the Raven and foretell the Shepherd. Should be kind of cute, but not that crazy. Alright, it's coming on in. Welcome, Craven Hulk. Welcome to my face. Firewalker's not coming in, though. We're just not going to allow that. Code Spell Cleric's going to hold that off. Yeah, Code Spell Cleric is a small enough impact card when it comes back from the grave, where it's literally just a 1/1, to where I think I will actually just exile it with my Stalwart Valkyrie, so that I can actually cast two things next turn, or cast that and foretell a card. Yeah, I'm getting a 1/1 back on the field just seems so weak that I don't need that effect off of the Shepherd. I would rather just dump more things on the field right now. Squash. Okay. Well, now I'm just going to exile an Augury Raven because I get to leave something that is small enough to bring back. I guess I could cast Mistwalker and foretell the Shepherd, but I could also just hit a 6th land next turn. Like, if I don't hit a land next turn off of casting Valkyrie and Mistwalker this turn, I still get to cast a Scorn Effigy and foretell the Shepherd. So the downside of like not hitting an untapped land next turn is not that bad. And I guess all my lands are untapped lands. So yeah, I'm just going to go for it. Get as many things onto the field as possible. They're at 12. They're going to take 6 in the sky. They're dead in 2 flying attacks. I mean, they're over dead in 2 flying attacks. Now I have a blocker to stop the Firewalker damage without dying, unless they want to throw a burn spell at it. Opponent draws into a Dwarven Hammer. That is a card I like a lot. Hopefully it'll be a little too slow for our opponent, and it will be if they don't draw removal. They have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have 12 damage on boards. They'd have to break through my whole field, and I should be playing 2 blockers next turn, most likely. Yep. Alright. Kind of like attacking with just those 2. I just have to do 6 more damage to be lethal next turn. I'll have 3 power flyers on this board. And a Mistwalker that I could pump twice, so I'll have 4 flyers that could hit for lethal next turn. I can pump Mistwalker 3 times right now, make it 4, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could put him to 2, but I'd rather just be safe about this. I only have to hit them with any 2 of my 4 flyers next turn, and I'll be fine. 2 of them are tapped, so I know 2 of them aren't dying in combat. And Shepherd lets me get another 3/3 on the board and a 1/1 chump blocker. I'm feeling pretty solid here. They're Boast hits a haster, which is cute. That is the most damage we can stop, and there's the concession. I mean, the most damage we could stop, I could stop 3 more damage by blocking their trampler there if I wanted to be extra safe. The only thing that would kill us there would be if they had the +1/+1 and double strike spell. They could do exactly 12, but that is a white card, so I think we were pretty safe there. And that is 3 wins and no losses so far for Azorius Flyers. I like the deck. I like the aggressive build. Again, I don't think I'm good at a lot of the stuff that you can do in this format. Mainly all of the splashing, all the snowlands and all that kind of stuff. So it's really weird whenever I try to go for that. I should probably just be honest with myself and stop even trying in the first place, because it always just ends up in me kind of pivoting towards a more aggressive standard kind of deck that I feel very comfortable with. Still do not like this hand, but it's a lot better than the last one because I can at least do Augury Raven. I'm going to get rid of Kinseekers because we do need 2 more lands to do that, whereas all of our white cards are castable off of 1 plains. Well, I guess this could be castable off of any 2 lands, but I'm going to get rid of that. Codespell Cleric will be very good if I draw plains within the next 2 turns, because then next turn I'd be able to cast the Raven and the Cleric, as I've done multiple games already. Our opponent has foretold the card as well. They were probably just foretelling another Augury Raven. Maybe a glimpse the future, glimpse the multiverse, that's what it is. Scry 2, draw 2 here. Nope, it is also an Augury Raven. The Augury Raven War has begun, and our opponent drops a red source, so they are Jeskai right now. I'm going to offer the trade. Are we trading Ravens? Let's find out. We are not trading Ravens. Alright, here's my Mistwalker. I think I have more white sources than blue sources. I don't remember. Yeah, 8 white sources and 7 blue sources. So ideally, sometime soon here, we'll be picking up a plains. We've got time, currently. Not really under any pressure. I have a 1/4 blocker for their 3/3 attacker. So we're currently under literally 0 pressure. And I do like seeing a plains here. I could bind their 1 blocker in gold to try to get aggressive. I don't like super like that, because I do want to save that for if they play something scarier. I kind of want to play my land so I can threaten to double pump Mistwalker for a trade, and then just cast like a Story Seeker main phase 2. Just trade for whatever they block here. Alright, yeah, that seems fine. And I can pump once, because I obviously cannot cast 2 white spells this turn. This format just has a lot of really scary cards that need to be dealt with as quickly as possible, especially in splashier multicolored kind of decks. Those would be the kinds of things I would expect. Okay, well now I'm just going to bind a Finn, because otherwise I'm not attacking for the rest of this game. I really don't like seeing another island here, but I guess at least I get to pump Mistwalker once. Yeah, I don't think it's worth not binding Finn because I'm scared of something else, because of the fact that I just cannot attack into a 1/3 Flying Death Touch ever. I guess I could trade Mistwalker into it. but then I'm very quickly running out of creatures. Another Foretold card for our opponent. And a Sculptor of Winter. Ooh, an Augury Raven. Trade with that Sculptor. Ooh, I won't trade with that Sculptor. Alright. I must need that mana then. Oh, I didn't even notice I had enough to cast Raven and Codespell Cleric. I probably should have just Codespell Cleric on the Story Seeker so they couldn't even do the trade. I feel they're pretty likely to play something on the ground. So even if Story Seeker's a 3/3, it's just going to get like double blocked and killed. So I kind of want to just put it on a flyer here. I'll put it on the beefier one. Put it on the Mistwalker. Because that also lets us use its pump ability 4 times instead of 3 times without it dying. So we could attack with that if we had enough mana. As like a 6/1 potentially. We're very unlikely to ever have enough mana for that, but still also like putting it on the highest toughness one because now it's out of range of like demon bolts and stuff, and it's going to add just as much damage. We also have the ability to make Mistwalker attack as a 3/4 flyer, which is very relevant because we've seen them cast an Augury Raven before. So if they cast another 3/3 flying blocker, being able to attack with a 3/4 flyer is really good. Oh no. We're getting pooped on by a mythic here. Yeah, I guess we lose. Yeah, I mean, I can't attack in here. That dies, this dies. I get in for 1. Let's draw a card here. See if we can draw into something. Not yet. Oop, that's not what I want to do. Just want to pass turn. I considered it though. So our opponent got 2 4/4 flying Vigilance Angels off of 1 card, which is super brutal. Yeah. I think we're almost definitely out of this one. Even if we'd held on to the bound in gold, we could only get rid of one of these things.
My heroics will be known in realms beyond realms.
Alright, well that is our first loss. No matter what happens here, we are getting a 3/3. Average record overall. I think we can get some more wins with this. I think it's a pretty solid deck. That last round was pretty brutal though. There may have been some points where I could have sequenced better to get more aggressive. Maybe even just casting the Bound in Gold even earlier to try to push in for more damage. But there weren't enough of those moments to push in for a lethal amount of damage before our opponent started dropping mythics on us. So I think that one was going to be a loss regardless, unfortunately. I will keep this one. I don't love it, but I have both of our colors this time, and we have the Scorn Effigy coming out on turn 3 that we get to foretell on turn 2, and then spend our mana turn 3 to actually cast, I guess, the Mistwalker. If our opponent plays some kind of ground creature here, I might want to just foretell the Shepherd of the Cosmos instead of the Effigy. I guess I could go Effigy into Mistwalker into Kinseekers and kind of curve out that way, even if I don't get to drop Shepherd of the Cosmos on 4. So I will foretell the Scorn Effigy here to set up for Kinseekers on turn 4 to be a 3/5 and scry 1. Mistwalker from our opponent. Time for the Jinx. Yeah, I do want the 2/3 on board. Doesn't affect things too greatly, but now they can't attack with both Mistwalker and Sculptor Winter here to poke in for 1 damage. I guess it could have been 2 damage with the double blue that they have. Seraph's Packmate from our opponent, a 3/3, and it draws a card when it comes into play. Solid value play. And now we'll just cast our Kinseekers. 3/5 and scry 1, leaving an Augury Raven on top. And now we've got a really thick blocker on the ground for their Packmate or any of their stuff they have right now. Mistwalker is a really sturdy, really solid flyer though, so it is going to stop basically my whole game plan until I can get around that somehow. We do have a couple Bound in Gold that we could use on it, and an Iron Verdict. I was going to say, I feel like I don't have a lot of removal in this deck, but I do have 3 pieces. I think I've drawn like 1 removal spell in every round so far, which is really weird. Or 1 removal spell out of every round so far, I should say. I think I'm just casting the 3/3 Flying Raven here. I have no way to trade these Mistwalkers yet. I don't have enough mana, so no reason to hold mana up. Just cast a Raven past turn, I think. I guess with enough flyers, I don't really need to kill the Mistwalker. I can just go wide around it. Attack with 3 creatures, they can only block 1 of them. We're chipping away for a couple damage every time we do that. We have solid blocks on the ground for everything except the Eyeside Troll. They do have the 2 snow mana to start giving it indestructible every time it attacks now. But even that we can block with a 3/5, but then we're just not blocking Packmate well. I mean, currently we are, but in the future where we start attacking with all of our flyers, we would just have a 3/5 and 2/3 on the ground. So I could block Troll and take 3. But if they wanted to push that damage onto me, I guess I could... Oh, no. Oh, no. I was going to say, I guess I could, at that point, just block the Packmate and take the 4. But now they're going to start putting some +1/+1 counters on all their stuff and drawing a bunch of cards. Some counters onto Mistwalker and Packmate. Alright. And that did draw them a bunch of cards, which is an issue. And I can't attack into Mistwalker at all now, but we have 2 Bound in Gold in our deck. We're really just trying to draw into that now. Shepherd of the Cosmos is so unlikely to bring something back from the grave this game that I think I might as well just play the 3/3 flyer. I would have to draw into like a 2-mana 2/2 lifelinker and then somehow trade it off in a favorable way to do anything here. So we're just not going to do that. If I draw one of my 2 drops, it's not going to matter at all. Just play the biggest flyer we have. We are simply looking for Bound in Golds. At least our opponent, again, does not really have good attacks. Even after making Packmate a 4/4. If I'm not sending it with my flyers, I just have well more than enough random 3/3s to just block everything. I mean, if they're not going to untap that somehow, I'm really happy with that. Maybe they're playing a big reach creature or something. Or another just giant flyer. But I mean, I'll race that. Seems fine to me. Eye Spine Pillar to slow me down. Okay. And a Guardian Gladewalker. Throwing a counter on the Packmate. Okay. 4, 5, 6. 7 mana here is not enough to cast both of these. Yeah, I can't, like... I'm never able to block this Mistwalker without it just eating one of my creatures, because even if I block with my own Mistwalker, they can pump it once to make it a 4/5 that's attacking me, so I think I literally just want to keep attacking with all my flyers every turn. The only thing I don't like about that is that the ground creatures then get to start coming in. They can Eye Spine Pillar one of my creatures here by using Sculptor of Winter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could pump once on the Mistwalker. Hopefully they tap down Mistwalker, because I'm only going to be able to pump it once, but they might think that, like on board, I can pump it 3 times. Okay, just tap the Shepherd, sure. I will send in. They could tap down my only flyer now, but then they don't have the pillar up for when I attack them next turn. So they'd put their shields down to take 3, 6, 9, plus 4, take 13. That would be a very, very bold tap off of the Eye Spine Pillar. Unless they had a way to destroy 1 or 2 of my flyers. Yeah, so they don't even attack here, because it's getting a little sketchy. I have Valkyrie plus Cleric. If I attack into that, they block there and take 9. So after I put a Valkyrie out, they block there, take 10. It's not going to do it. Especially because they have Pillar up anyway. Go to combat here, see what they want to do with Pillar. Now we're trying to draw our Bound in Gold. Bound in Gold would have done it basically any turn. Things just turn into a winning position for us. But now even the Warhorn Blast will do it as well. Just +2, +1 to everybody. Just slam the all attack button and that should be lethal. I think I want to put one of my 3 power flyers into a 4 power flyer. Although I am 1 mana off from being able to quadruple pump Mistwalker. If I put a counter on that, it might be relevant here. They might be countering my Code Spell Cleric. That would be really weird, but maybe they are. Okay, they're going to scry some and draw some cards. Sure. Yeah, so if I put it on Mistwalker, I can pump that up 4 times because it's got 1 more toughness. But I could also just spread out the number of flyers that I have that can do as much damage as possible. Because right now, if I attack with everybody, they block Mistwalker to stop 4 damage and then take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But if I put a counter on one of these, they block this to stop 4 damage and then they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I like could push in 1 more damage that way. And it would force them to have to pump to kill it. Yeah, sure. Might be better to just put the counter on the Mistwalker, so that could by itself get in for more damage. I guess that would be better if we drew like our bound in gold. I mean, with Icebind Pillar from our opponent, it doesn't matter a whole ton. If I put the counter on the Mistwalker, they just tap the Mistwalker every turn. If I put the counter on the Shepherd, they just tap the Shepherd every turn. Waking the Trolls is definitely going to kill us if it goes off. They have 7 lands right now, and we have 7. So we'll be down to 6 lands. They will go up to 8 lands, and they will get Trolls equal to the difference on the third part of it. So now we need to draw one of our outs very quickly, or we're gonna get killed by trampling Trolls. Iron Verdict. Okay. If I attack with all of my flyers, they tap down Shepherd, I attack with everybody else. They kill Augury Raven, take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, go to 5 life. Then next turn... Okay, so if they stop my 2 biggest flyers, let's just think of it that way. They stop my 2 biggest, they stop both of the 4s. They take 9 this turn, and one of them is dead. So they're down to 6, and I now have 4 flyers. They stop 2 of them, the 2 biggest, a 4 and a 7, and take 6, go to 0. I mean, I have to just outrace this Waking the Trolls, so... I think I'm in that desperation mode where if they have literally nothing, 2 attacks with all my flyers will kill them. So we gotta just go for it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 right now. Put them to 6. 6 does make it so any 2 flyers getting in kills them. Even just 2 3/3s. So I don't think that the next pump is relevant unless they gain like 1 life randomly. So I'm actually going to foretell this Iron Verdict. Rather than the 1 more pump there. So they really just need like 1 removal spell here, and we are just shut down. But maybe they don't have it. Just Undersea Invader. Oh my god. Okay. That's so surprising that they didn't have it there. Well, we played to the one way that could have won us the game, and lucky for us, our opponent just did not have anything after that Waking the Trolls. So we'll get there. I'm glad I did the math and went for it, even if I thought it was a really long shot, because sometimes those long shots get there, if that's the only way that you're gonna somehow win the game. I guess, you know, there's still an argument for not doing that. I don't know how good that argument is, but you could say that we shouldn't, and we should have just been holding off and hoping for Bound in Gold or our pump spell, because both of those are a lot better if we didn't just sacrifice a creature and then get removal spelled. But obviously the way we played worked out. So we're playing against red-white, but they don't play anything until turn 3, so I'm pretty happy about that. And thus far, things are working pretty solidly for us. Red-white decks tend to be very aggressive in this format. So if your opponent doesn't play any cards till turn 3, you're already off to a good start. Valor of the Worthy, Code Spell Cleric. Is that going to put another counter on it? Alright, this Bound in Gold is going to be absolutely fantastic. basically 3 for 1 our opponent. Not quite, but it'll be solid. Ooh, and they had to exile a Shepherd of the Cosmos permanently, so not a good draw off of their Firewalker. I am just going to get a 2/2 blocker on the ground here so that I'm not getting poked by their Code Spell Cleric. And I can trade off with a 3/2 or a 2/2 or anything like that. Stuff I would definitely expect from a red-white deck. Gold Vein Pick. Solid card. Turns all of their smaller creatures into bigger threats, which is important for things like right there, where all of a sudden their 1/1 turn into a 2/2 to trade with my 2/2. And a Stalwart Valkyrie from our opponents. I kind of want to foretell some cards. However, that will be a 4/3 flyer with a pick on it, so we kind of just need to play a 3/3 flyer, I think. They've got 1 card left in hand. If it's a removal spell, I just take 4. That's not so bad. The treasure tokens aren't actually giving them value if that card in hand is just a removal spell, because then, I mean, they're just top decking. They're going to have enough mana for anything anyway, so treasure tokens don't really do anything. Yeah, I'll just play Augury Raven then. Offering trade with Vega, obviously because we have a backup Vega, and that Valkyrie's about to be a 4/3 flyer, which we'll just not trade. We are losing on some Vega value here, but we are already winning in terms of card advantage by quite a bit. Our opponent's got 1 card in hand, we've got 4. So we don't need to draw a card out of literally everything. We also have cards like Shepherd of the Cosmos that will come into play and basically draw us another card, even if it's just a little Code Spell Cleric. And Rune of Sustenance draws us a card when we play it. We're definitely drawing more cards than our opponent. We're going to take that trade. And 1 card in hand, Shepherd of the Cosmos, with nothing they can bring back in grave. However, that will be a 4/4 with Gold Vein Pick on it. We do have the Iron Verdict for it, though. So I just foretell that so I can draw a card when I do it. We'll scare them. Maybe make them think that we have a counter spell as well. And then pass turn. Alright, suit it up, get in. We'll kill it, draw a card, and I don't see how we could possibly lose this game at this rate. Yep, there's the concession from our opponent. Because now we've got an empty board, they've got 1 card, we've got 5, as well as we're going to be foretelling and casting more cards later, drawing a ton off of Vega, really solidifying us in a very winning position there, both on board and in terms of card advantage in hand. Well, that was cool. We got to do the Vega thing, and we're at 5 wins, 1,600 gems and 4 packs. Oh my god. This draft is just flied by. The drafts have been going super well lately. I don't know what it's been, but early on during this format, I was having a really rough time of it. But lately, we've been getting some really solid drafts. And I don't think that much particularly changed in the way that I'm drafting, but maybe it did, and I just didn't notice. I guess I was like literally never drafting like Code Spell Clerics. I have been taking cards at a slightly different orders that maybe have been paying off, like big time overall. Especially that red-white equipment draft. I was like never looking at that pickaxe, the Gold Vein pickaxe. But then I picked up one of those in there and it was really good with the multiple runes we had. Alright, we've got our colors. We've got some flyers. We've got what we're trying to do. I can even foretell a Raven on turn 2 and then play a Vega on turn 3 and just start drawing cards very soon. Our opponent starts with a snow-covered forest, so we do have to be scared of some splashy, snowy, bomby stuff like an Avalanche Caller. I could very well just die to an Avalanche Caller here if we don't get a Bound in Gold or something very soon. we're gonna get slapped by some 4/4 hexproof lands. Just get slapped right now. Stalwart Valkyrie's the draw. No creatures in grave. I could play Augury Raven and a Code Spell Cleric, put a counter on the Raven. The reason that that's an option is because then I have a 4/4 blocker to trade with the land if they attack in. So maybe that'll stop them from attacking with it. I don't love losing out on the Vega value, but that seems kind of okay. At the same time, if their hand just has a decent amount of lands in it, and like they draw one more snow land this game, that play is gonna get me uber killed either way. I'm gonna play Vega. I can hold off on one turn from that, I think. We know they had a 4th land at least. They've got 5 cards in hand and the ability to use Avalanche Caller's land animation effect, turning that snow-covered forest into a 4/4 to slap us with again. So I am sure they have a lot of options to think through here. Does make me quite scared that they feel they have something better to do than hit me for 4 here and put me down to 11. That is really worrying. That means even if we find a way to stop the Avalanche Caller, we know they have a lot more action, especially with a Boreal Outrider hitting the board. I think I'm actually happier with them just casting that than I would be getting hit for another 4 here. I think the longer this game goes on, the better of a chance I have. Especially with a Rune of Sustenance to get lifelink here if I need it. Do I want to make Raven a 4/4, or do I want to give something lifelink? Do draw a card when I do that. I think I want to make Raven a 4/4. Attack for 2. And maybe next turn we'll give our 4/4 Flying Raven lifelink, and then we get to start hitting them for 4 and gaining 4 life every turn. Uh-oh. Another snow land from them means that they get to attack us with 2 4/4s every turn, if that is the plan. Not quite yet. It does cost 2 mana to activate one, and just a Bergstrider from our opponent. Okay. I guess throwing a counter on Code Spell Cleric would have made it big enough to trade with Outrider, but we were not considering Bergstrider removing Raven outright. At least from this block. I'll take 4. Yeah, Raven being tapped here is a really big problem because now I don't get to just give it lifelink and attack in. Guess we're playing Mistwalker and Shieldmate just to have a lot of blockers for now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I get him for 9 in the sky next turn and cast my Rune of Sustenance. Got a chance just because they can't block anything. It's kind of how flyer decks work. Not a great chance though, because they have the mana to activate Avalanche Caller twice now. Attack us with 3 4/4s. So we just got to chump block with Cleric, chump block with Shieldmate. At least Shieldmate is really great in this position because it's 2 chump blockers. It'll chump block now and chump block again next turn. We'd actually rather kill one of their creatures than chump block if possible. And then just chump block there, take 4, go to 7. Sure. Brine, Barrow, Intruder. Alright, that doesn't really affect us too much, but it does leave them with 1 more attacker. But it's not like they killed anything really important. Them getting to keep another attacker here is pretty bad, though. They're at 16. If I hit them for like 8, I'll kill them in 2 flying turns. We can cast a Stalwart Valkyrie for only 2. So we could actually cast all 3 of these cards. So I'll actually want a Rune of Sustenance first. Because I'm almost definitely going to Rune of Sustenance. It is holding for our opponent, but that could be for Avalanche Caller's ability. Okay, well, now I think I should have paid double white for the rune. That was not great. Doesn't really matter, though, because I'm not going to cast Glimpse and use Mistwalker's ability, I don't think. Let's Glimpse the Cosmos. And then we're going to Valkyrie. Oh my god. I've got the mana to play the Shepherd, so we'll probably pick that one because it gets us a blocker. I don't have the mana to play it this turn, but I have the mana to play it next turn. Okay. 4, 5, 6. If I hit them for 6 right now, I'll have a Stalwart Valkyrie out as well, so they'll go to 10 life, and then I hit them for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I can leave Mistwalker back to block their 3-2. So I will. Now I have lethal flying damage for next turn if nothing happens here. And even if I don't immediately lethal them next turn, at least I get 2 more blockers with Shepherd of the Cosmos and a Bestier Shieldmate. If all my flyers survive, and I survive, we just kill them next turn. I am at 11, and they can make 2 more 4/4s, so they'll have 3 4/4s attacking me. I can block one of them, I can block there, I get hit by 2 4/4s for 8, and I get hit by a 1/2 and a 1/3. That'd be 10, I go to 1 life. So currently on board, I can survive and keep all of my flyers. So I think I have a chance. And I could even go to 2 life if I like block their 1/3 with my 3/2. Alright, they're digging. They're casting Glimpse the Cosmos. That means they don't get to activate 2 4/4s here. So they've done the math. They see it as well. They know they're dead next turn to the Flyers, and they can't kill me this turn on the ground. If they fail on this one, they can do it again for 1 blue. Search for another card, but that would have to cost 3 or less and save them. We're doing some math here. Could be like struggle for Skemfar in those top 3, and they're trying to see if Skemfar will do it. They'll be at 10, so they could struggle for Skemfar, Bergstrider onto Augury Raven. They could absolutely survive another turn if they have struggle for Skemfar. But thanks to the Shepherd of the Cosmos setup, I think I'm safe against that even. Because then they're just not attacking this turn. I guess, no, they could attack with the Strider. If they had struggle. Alright, Bergstrider's coming in. I'll chump it. 4 is the most damage we're going to block on any of the stuff. Like, chumping a 4-power creature now is just the equivalent of chumping a 4-power creature next turn. And I definitely don't want to block with any of my flyers. Now if they have struggle for Skemfar, they can't kill Augury Raven without losing their Bergstrider. But they could kill my Stalwart Valkyrie. Struggle for Skemfar, of course, puts a +1/+1 counter onto one of your creatures and then has it fight an opposing creature. See what they're doing here. Ooh, struggle. Oh yeah, they could do with the Boreal Outrider. Either way, they do have to lose a creature. So they did have struggle. But yeah, thanks to the Shepherd of the Cosmos setup, I'm still feeling real safe here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can put them to just 1. But I can't do lethal here, so we will have to do the Shepherd play. Could pick up the Rune of Sustenance. I'm going to Glimpse the Cosmos. Drawn to a Beskier Shieldmate and drawn to an Augury Raven. Now I can just play a Raven and a Shieldmate if I want. I could also grab that Story Seeker to just have a Lifelinker on board too. I think I want to cast Shepherd of the Cosmos and just pick up a Shieldmate. But the fact that I could play a Raven and a Shieldmate now here, which is the exact same thing, is really funny. I'm going to pick up the Raven. I'm at 15 here. I just have to do like 5 and then block some 4/4s and I'll be fine. Alright, Glimpse the Cosmos getting cast again from the grave now. So, if they hit another land, they could still activate 2 4/4s, but I don't think that's enough. Yeah, because I have these 2 flyers tapped, so if they're not dealing anything to these tapped flyers, I can even just chump block with all the untapped flyers. Oh my god, and we made it to Diamond today. What a fantastic draft here, up into Diamond Tier 4. Feels good, man. I think that's 6 wins now. 6 wins and 1 loss. 1 win away from a 7-win run. Only 2 rounds left to go either way. Win or lose. If I win, there's only 1 game left to go. It's been a really fun Blue-White Flyers deck. With the Fertel synergies as well. With the Vegas. And I didn't even know that Glimpse the Cosmos also works with Vega. That was really neat to draw the additional card. Get the 2/1 Beskier Shieldmate. If I wanted to just cast Raven and Shieldmate, I could. Okay. Final boss, question mark? Could be. Could be, we'll see. Not a good start. Gonna mulligan that for sure. This has both of our colors. We have Glimpse the Cosmos with Mistwalker. I do like the Warhorn Blast to end games, but we'll have to just try to end games the traditional way here, because 3-drop flyer into 4-drop flyer is definitely pretty solid, and the Warhorn Blast does not suit into that very well. Now that we've drawn just a 2-drop to play on curve, we can go 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, which is better than just drawing cards right now, when we can just get aggressive. Of course, we are against another aggressive deck, it seems. We are going to trade with an Axe Guard Cavalry, so their future stuff does not get haste. But that makes it so our Stalwart Valkyrie only costs 2 mana, so if we hit our 4th land, we get to cast Valkyrie and Glimpse the Cosmos. Since we could exile a creature from the grave now. So trading is generally just pretty profitable for us. Now, I kind of do want to Glimpse and just draw a land here and then cast the Shieldmate. I'll spend double blue so that I could hit any land here and be fine. I don't love missing out on Vega and Augury Raven, but I think I still have to just take the land. Because I do get to cast another Glimpse the Cosmos in the future. So even though we're missing out on a non-land card here, we will be drawing another card this next turn. Bloodline Pretender on Berserker, those are the most represented creatures in red and black, so it makes sense. I'm going to Glimpse the Cosmos before I do anything here, but we're probably casting Kinseekers to scry after this. Pick up a Valkyrie, sure. Well, I guess it's probably better to get aggressive and just play a Valkyrie for 4 mana. I like playing 1 for 4, that way if I hit a 6th land next turn I can just do 1 for 2 and then the 4 mana there, because it's squeezing in 1 extra damage if I dump 2 mana in there. So I'd rather just cast it for the full 4, so I can just double spell next turn if I want to. Breakneck Berserker. Alright, that turns Bloodline Pretender into a 3/3, which would trade into my flyer. Well, definitely going to trade with Firewalker here. Maybe trade with Bloodline Pretender before it gets any bigger. That seems fine, actually. I'll go ahead and do that. Bound in Gold. That makes me want to just play another flyer, I think. I've got 3 creatures in my grave now, so yeah, we're definitely exiling something so that I can pump. I could play Kinseekers as a 3/5, but the Valkyrie gets in for just as much damage. I don't really need to block yet still. Which of these would I rather get back later? Actually, we'll just get rid of the Valkyrie. I don't have anything that can bring back 4 mana creatures, so we may as well get rid of the 4 mana creature. So if I do draw into my Angel that can bring 2 or less costs back, I still have that option. Just take 3 there. That's nothing at this point. We're definitely outracing that. Well, Immerstrom's Skullcairn actually looks very scary for me right now. Making me discard 1 card and take 3. Actually sounds very painful. Because my cards are good. Well, I kind of like... I do like playing the Kinseekers as a big old blocker now. Although, they're at 15 now, so I could hit them for 4. They're down to 11. Play an Augury Raven. Next turn they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe 10. If I get another land, I could really just put the aggression on my opponent. And a 3/3 would block the Raider, because they don't have any boast right now. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's just get spicy with it. Could also hold a 1/4 back to just not take any damage here, but I'm still not that scared of my opponent outracing me. Especially with a Bound in Gold. If they Skullcairn us, that feels a little painful because I am discarding a card that's actually good, but that means they're not doing anything else, which means I'll probably be fine. What is this? What on earth is this attack? Just like a run amok? Alright, fine. I mean, I'm at 11 here, so highly don't see them getting lethal next turn. Alright. Basalt Ravager to kill one of our flyers is a big deal. Now they die in multiple turns. They take 4 now. 5 if I cast a 3 mana spell. Yeah, I could hit him for 5 and cast Vega. Or I could just... I don't even need to play another flyer to have lethal next turn if I draw another land. So if I play like Kinseekers, I hit them for 4, put them to 7, and I just try to scry to a land. And then I have a big flyer, or a big blocker. So if they don't kill one of my flyers, then I just win. Because I hit them down to 7 life, then Raven sends in for 3. Mistwalker sends in for 4 if I pump it 3 times. So I just need to hit any basic land off Kinseekers, and this way I'm leaving up good blocks as well. Alright, scry that to the bottom to get more likely to hit a land here. This is so definitely run amok, it's ridiculous. But literally anything I block, even if I block Frenzied Raider, they run amok it to a 5/5 status, which just kills Kin Seekers. We're just going to block the most damage that we can. So we take like 2 there, go to 9, they run amok there. And I take 1 from that. So I take 3 total, go to 8. Yep, this is super fine. If I top deck a basic, I just win. Alright. I can pump twice, so I can hit for 6. I guess if I held off the 1/1, if I just didn't block with the 1/1 there, I could have won off of a Bound and Gold on their 1 blocker here. It's not the end of the world. We're not under that much danger still. I think we bind their creature that does the most damage immediately, which would be 4 here. Just in case they have a second run amok. And then we play a Shield Mate as a blocker. I attack for 4, and either one of these flyers is lethal no matter what I draw next turn. I block there, take 5 on board. If they boast the Liberator. So they need something else that's gas to lethal me this turn. And if they don't lethal me this turn, I definitely lethal them on my next turn. There were definitely a couple different lines that I could have took that were not, that were better than the ones that I did take. Obviously, I should not have just chumped with my 1/1. I should have done the math and realized, yeah, this is definitely run amok, and even if it's double run amok, I don't die. Immersturm Predator? Actually, it doesn't matter, it's 1 blocker. Alright. I got spooked for a second, then I was like, oh yeah. 1 is stopping one of my flyers, so I still get in for 3. Okay. Oh my god. It should be GG. Alright. Yeah, I was gonna say the other line I could have took was casting Vega earlier that game instead of the other stuff that I did. I don't know for sure if that would have been better. The only play I 100% know would have been better would have been fully doing the math to figure out that there was nothing in my opponent's hand that could have lethaled me there, and we knew that one of those cards was run amok, so I think I got overly scared about the 1 run amok and wanted to throw another trump blocker there, and it could have cost me the game, like it very well could have. Luckily it didn't though. Pretty fantastic draft run overall. 7 wins and 1 loss. Grabbed 2,200 gems and 6 packs out of that one. Feels pretty good. Been on a roll with the Kaldheim lately, so that was a pretty fantastic run. Well, at the end of the video, as always, I would like to thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more Magic Arena drafts, you're at the right place. Just hang around, like, comment, subscribe, all of the goodies. If you want to see me live on Twitch, I play occasionally when I'm in the mood. At the description in the link below. And anyways, yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you again for some more Magic Arena content tomorrow.